You buy chicken every week, maybe even more often. You toss it in the pan and you get nothing. No smell, no flavor, just meat that oozes water, shrinks to half its size while cooking, and ends up feeling like chicken-flavored chewing gum. But here is the interesting part. Your grandmother didn't complain about the chicken. Your parents remember that chicken used to actually have a scent, a real, rich, meaty aroma, the kind that makes your mouth water before you even open the oven. So, where did it go? The thing sitting in your fridge right now isn't just a chicken. It is the product of 70 years of industrial decisions, where every choice was made not for taste, but for weight, speed, and profit margins. And there is one more detail the meat industry desperately doesn't want you to know. In the 1950s, chicken in America was a delicacy, not an everyday staple, a luxury. People ate chicken on Sundays or holidays when they wanted something special. And it was special. Those chickens lived for 12 to 16 weeks. They moved around, they ate grain, bugs, and grass. They had developed muscles, and they had flavor, rich, slightly nutty, and deep. That's the flavor French chefs still chase today, paying $8 per kilo for breeds like Label Rouge. Today's industrial chicken, the Cornish Cross breed, lives for 38 to 42 days, less than 6 weeks. In that time, it gains over 2 kilograms. In the 1950s, it took a chicken 16 weeks to reach that same weight. This isn't magic, it's genetics and antibiotics. Decades of selective breeding for maximum weight gain with minimum movement. The result is a bird whose muscles grow so fast that its heart often can't keep up. Up to 4% of industrial chickens die of heart failure before they even reach slaughter. Fast-growing muscle tissue contains more fluid and fewer protein fibers, which are what provide the flavor. It's basic biology. Your chicken breast tastes like water because, physiologically, it's closer to a water balloon than a muscle, but that's only the beginning. There is a legal, fully authorized practice called enhanced poultry, or plumped chicken. In Ukraine and the EU, this falls under the category of a marinated or processed product. In American supermarkets, this covers up to 30% of all chicken on the shelves. Here's how it works. After slaughter, the meat is either submerged in a solution or injected with needles containing a mixture of water, salt, phosphates, and sometimes starch. The meat absorbs 10 to 30% of its weight in extra liquid. They are required to list this on the packaging, but look at how it's written. Contains up to 15% of a solution of water, salt, and natural flavors. That's not a warning. It's a line in the ingredients list, written in 8-point font. Translation from corporate speak to human, you are paying meat prices for water. At $5 per kilogram, if it contains 20% solution, you are paying $1 for water. Multiply that by millions of packages every week. This is a billion-dollar business where the product is H2's dollar. And phosphates, by the way, are a whole other story. They are added so the meat holds onto that water even after cooking. The side effect? When heated, the chicken releases a white liquid, denatured protein mixed with the solution. That's what you see in the pan. It's why your chicken doesn't sear. It boils. Phosphates literally prevent the chicken from forming a crust. There is a reason the European Union bans the import of American chicken. It's not just antibiotics, though that's a separate issue. The specific reason is chlorination. In American plants, after slaughter, the carcasses are submerged in cold water saturated with chlorine. This is called a chlorine wash or chlorinated water chilling. The goal is to kill bacteria like Salmonella and Campylobacter. The EU's position is simple. If you need a chemical bath to make meat safe, then the problem lies in the hygiene of the previous production stages. In other words, chlorination isn't a solution. It's a mask for the problem. The American FDA and USDA disagree, considering the method effective and safe. But here's the catch. Chlorinated water is still water, and it too is absorbed by the meat. Add the natural water content of a fast-growing breed, plus the injection solution, plus the chlorine bath, and you get a product that is essentially a sponge. But the most interesting part isn't the chlorine bath itself. It's what it does to the flavor. Chlorine destroys volatile compounds, the very molecules responsible for the aroma of meat. Studies have shown that chlorinated chickens have a statistically lower aroma profile compared to air-chilled ones. You aren't imagining the lack of taste. You're receiving a chemically simplified product and have been trained to think it's normal. All right. You're reading this and thinking, I buy organic chicken. This doesn't apply to me. Let's break down each label. It matters. Hormone-free. This is marketing fluff. The USDA has banned the use of growth hormones in poultry and pork since the 1950s. Every chicken in America is hormone-free. This label means nothing. Natural. The USDA defines this as a product with no artificial ingredients and minimal processing, but minimal processing still allows for solution injections. A natural chicken can contain 15% added water and salt and still be legal. Free range, per USDA regulations, the birds must have access to the outdoors. They aren't required to actually go outside, and there is no minimum space requirement. A tiny door at the end of a massive warehouse for 20,000 birds is enough. Most birds never even find that door. Organic. This is a real standard. Organic chickens can't have antibiotics, must eat organic feed, and must have outdoor access. However, they can still be the same fast-growing Cornish Cross breed. Organic doesn't mean slow-grown. The flavor might be better, but not necessarily. Here is what actually happened to the chicken. It's not a conspiracy. It's documented industrial logic. After Webubwe, the USDA launched the Chicken of Tomorrow program. The goal: grow more meat, faster and cheaper to feed a growing population. It was a scientific, state-sponsored program with good intentions. It worked. The price of chicken dropped by over 70% between 1960 and 2000. Chicken became the most affordable meat in America. That is a genuine achievement. But with every decision, something was sacrificed. Genetic selection for mass sacrificed flavor. Quick slaughter of young birds sacrificed muscle development. Water cooling sacrificed aroma. Injections for moisture sacrificed texture and price honesty. Individually, each decision seemed rational. Together, they created a product your taste buds politely ignore. The most cynical part? The industry knows this. Internal research shows consumers are unhappy with the taste but satisfied with the price. And as long as price is the priority, flavor won't be. What can you do? Here are a few concrete steps. Read the ingredients, not the label. If you see water, salt, phosphates, or up to X% solution, it's an enhanced product. Look for a plain chicken breast with no added ingredients. Look for air-chilled. This is the real game changer. These birds were cooled with cold air, not a chlorine bath. They don't absorb extra liquid, they retain their aroma, and they have better texture. Heritage breeds or pasture-raised. It's expensive, $15, $20 per bird versus $7. But if you want to remember what chicken actually tastes like, try it once. It's like eating a real garden tomato after a supermarket one. Cooking methods. If you have industrial chicken, a dry brine for 24 hours draws out excess water and concentrates the flavor. It won't fix the genetics, but it will improve the result. The chicken didn't get worse out of malice. It's the result of decades of rational choices in a system where the only metric of success was the price on the shelf. When you buy the cheapest chicken, you vote for the system that produces it. You now know your chicken is a feathered water sponge, but there is a product in your fridge right now that is an even more perfect example of food marketing. Orange juice. Freshly squeezed. 100% natural. All true. And all a lie. Industrial orange juice is stored for up to a year in massive tanks, stripped of oxygen so it doesn't spoil, but it also loses all its flavor. So before it hits the carton, they add flavor packs, aromatic blends designed by perfume companies. Literally, perfumers. And these flavor packs don't have to be on the label because they are natural. See you in the next video. Same shelf, different story.